On this week's Trimble Forensics Tech Tip Tuesday, we're taking a daytime scene and making it night, and we're going to be looking at how to put lights into your scene. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change our sky. So we're going to go to our scene tab and our sky settings, and we're going to change it over from a cloud-covered scene. You see here we have a bunch of different options, but I'm just going to go with black with stars just to make it nice and easy. Now that we have our sky where we want it, it's time to change our ambient lighting. So to do this, we're going to go into our light settings and we're going to change our sunlight slider and also our ambient lighting. Now the sunlight slider also works for moonlight as well. And the ambient light works in such a way, if you have an overcast sky, it's going to provide a nice broad diffused light, whereas the sunlight would be more of a pinpoint. So now let's go back into our light settings here and we'll dim it down just a bit so that we can see our lighting. Now, if we look over on the right side of our light settings box, we have our different light presets available to us. What we can do here is we can enable them and we can look and see what the light is going to give us. And then we can also make it visible. And you can see there, it takes the form of a small flashlight. And that allows us to see which way it's pointing. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to change our pitch just a bit. And you can see that it changes the way that the light is pitched up and down. Now, if this wasn't on a vehicle, you can also change the yaw to make the light point where you want it to point. But on a vehicle, we're just going to keep it pointed straight ahead. Now, also, you can change the cone thickness. You can see here we can make it a much wider beam, or we can narrow it down into more of a spotlight. What we can also do is we can adjust the other side of the slider to give the edge of the light a bit more definition so it isn't as faded. Or we can slide it back just a touch to give the edge just a little bit of some softness to it, the way that light would normally be coming out of a headlight. Also, you can change the color of the light. So if this was, say, a high-pressure sodium light, you would want more of a yellowish tint. If it was a red light, you would want a red shine from the light itself. Now that I have my light where I want it, I'm going to make it invisible so that we're not seeing that flashlight hanging out. Now, the next part of this is we need to go into our model itself and scroll down in the Properties window, and you'll see an Assign Light button. Now we are working with light 1, so we're going to assign light 1 to our model. And that's it. Now our light is assigned to our model, and it's going to move with our model when we click play. Now another thing we can do here is we can make changes to the light with our model selected and with our edit mode on. And you can see here when I'm clicking and holding on the up and down arrows, it's changing the pitch of the light from this box rather than going into editing our light settings themselves. Also, what I can do is I can slide the light up and down. So if it isn't at the correct headlight height, I can make changes to that so that it is at the correct height for that vehicle. And once I'm done, I'm going to unclick edit mode and we are all set. So now let's take a look at what we have here. So I'll turn my sunlight and my ambient light down and I click play. And you see the result. Now it's just a little bit too dark. So what I'm going to do is bring up my moonlight just a bit, as well as my ambient light from my clouds. And that's looking pretty good right here. And we'll look at it from another angle. That's looking pretty good. And from the viewpoint of the driver, it's looking pretty good. All right, and hopefully that helps you out when it comes to adding your lights to your scenes and making them a lot more realistic. Now, if you have any questions, be sure to put them in the comment section below, and we would be happy to answer them. Thank you for watching, and stay safe.